Hi everybody, we've got a blue and black ninjas deck today that takes a departure from some of the earlier ninja decks we've seen and takes advantage of new Kaito Dancing Shadow from Phyrexia All Will Be One. Kaito plays really well with ninjas because its static ability says whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may return one of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you can activate Kaito's ability a second time instead of just once. So what that means is we can reuse some of our ninjas and reuse some of our creatures with enters the battlefield effects and get a little more value out of them in the long term. Now let's take a look at the rest of the deck and see how it works. We've got 4 copies of Thousand-Faced Shadow, a 1/1 ninja with flying that can copy another attacking creature if we play it for its ninja ability. So this is nice to get down in the early game and enable the cards like our Moon Circuit Hacker if we want to, or go right into Biting Palm Ninja on turn 3. This can also be useful in the late game. As you see, we've got our friend Archfiend of the Dross here, a 6/6 flyer that comes with a slight drawback. If it sticks around too long, we actually end up losing the game, but it can punish our opponents whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they lose 2 life. So it kind of stacks on a little bit of damage on top of itself, on top of being a large flying creature. So being able to make a second copy of this in the late game can really close out some games out of nowhere if we've got the setup for it. So back down in the 2 drops, we've got 4 copies of Moon Circuit Hacker to do a little draw and discard. Virus Beetle is a nice creature to reuse over and over again and kind of deplete our opponent's hand. 2 copies of Fading Hope to remove blockers and maybe reuse some of our stuff if we need to. And then we've got 3 copies of Make Disappear, 2 Infernal Grasp, and 2 Sheoldred's Edict as kind of our removal and counterspell suite. On top of all that, we've got Liliana of the Veil to really press our advantage when making our opponents discard. And the Sacrifice ability can also be useful in this environment as we tackle with things like Rot Priest or other things that can give themselves indestructible, hexproof, that kind of thing. She kind of takes care of the rest of those for us there. Now, we've got the usual slate of dual lands. We're adding Darkslick Shores, as that's kind of the faster version of Shipwreck Marsh here. And of course, we've got the 2 legendary lands from Kamigawa, since those play nicely with our creatures that we might want to reuse over and over, or with getting something back from the graveyard. I really enjoyed this kind of solid mid-rangey take on ninjas. I think it has much more staying power than the kind of more creature-focused version of this deck that we saw back when Kamigawa was a new thing. So let's get over and see some of these games on the ranked standard ladder with this deck. I'll stick with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, looking good. Not too much on the mulligan decisions here. If we've got our mana, we've usually got cheap enough stuff to get us through turns 1 through 3. So let's start off with Shipwreck Marsh. Turns off our ability to Fading Hope on turn 1, but will allow us to develop our mana very nicely here. We pick up a Darkslick Shores. Blade the Oni from our opponent. Don't recognize that as a signal for a popular deck list at the moment, but it's a solid rate on a 2-drop creature here. Ooh, Phyrexian Arena. Excellent card for black to have access to. Let's see, is this worth doing? I think we can take it. Let's do a Shipwreck Marsh and just a regular Biting Palm Ninja. We don't really have the element of surprise thanks to our lack of early creature plays, but we might be able to get in and make them discard something. Neither one of us can block our creatures. Ouch. Phyrexian Obliterator. Well, we can still get in, so let's get some more info first. Take the counter off to take a look at their hand. Corrupt, another Obliterator, and a cut down. Well, I think the other Obliterator for sure. Let's see. Kaito draws us a card. Return something to our hand. Let's get Kaito down.
This fight is already over.
We'll hit the old Obliterator with his +1 ability. Oh, Kaito's going to eat a hero's downfall right away. So Kaito's +1, really nice, prevents the creature from attacking and blocking. Thought that would be pretty good on defense for the moment, but opponent had the removal for it. And now our sacrifice effects looking a little bit worse, as they've kind of got some extra creatures around the Obliterator to protect it from things like Lily. Well, we might as well start working on him a little bit here. Let's make them a sacrifice. I imagine they'll say goodbye to the blade. Oh, or Sleeper might not feel like investing the mana into it. Might be trying to get us out of the game with a Corrupt this turn. Not that many swamps though, so it's not worth a whole bunch, but they've got some large creatures left on the board. Luckily, we've still got Fading Hope to try and navigate our way out of this one. Opponent cycles away Rafine's Tower. Okay, this could be painful. Opponent sends the blade at Lily. And Obliterator at our face. We would go to 6. I think that's all right for now.
It's no fun when
So,
they hit back.
yeah, what we can do now... Liliana really wasn't going to be of much use to us anyway. I don't want to discard too much more, and she's a little ways off from making them sack another thing. We could have done that earlier, I know. But Fading Hope, that creature now... They can't replay it, and then Obliterator is wide open to a sacrifice effect from Sheoldred's Edict here. Let's make sure we hit the right mode. Okay. Second Obliterator down. I want to keep up Make Disappear, so I'm not going to play this Hacker out of our hand. Opponent goes for the Corrupt, but we can counter that. Nice, kind of wastes an entire turn of theirs. Alright, let's get in. We're going to play our Ninja here. Sorry, our Archfiend. Should be able to finish out a game if they can't remove this creature. Opponent weighing their options, and it was good enough. All right, good game. Well, we've got only blue. Not sure we can keep this one. Well, that's certainly the right colors, but way too many Shipwreck Marshes. Ah, we against mono red. Let's get a Marsh down turn 1. Open up our options for turns 2 and 3. Well, there's a Shores anyway. Virus Beetle. Gonna make them discard something. We'll get a little more information out of that. A Voltage Surge. So, excuse me, so mono red with some kind of artifact bent, perhaps? They're going to use a second one to take care of our Beetle. Well, this could be a Liliana time. If we can kind of deplete our hands a little bit, I think our hand is probably better set up to handle this than theirs. So we'll get rid of our duplicate Liliana. If they want to waste resources on getting rid of her, that's another couple of cards over the top.
Whatever. Luck favors the foolish.
Something's not adding up here. All right, so Liliana down. This is smelling more and more like a mono red control deck. So Let's just try to get a draw in with Kaito before he probably eats a burn spell. Rending Flame. Gonna take care of our first Kaito. Kaito again. Let's get Archfiend of the Dross down. Kaito gonna be kind of a safety valve for this creature. But 6/6 is kind of hard for red to deal with. Ooh, even dodges the Might Stone here, so they're probably gonna draw. And yeah, if they can't deal with this, we can probably finish them off with a lot of Archfiend damage here. If one's good, two is better, and we've got both this Moon Circuit Hacker and Kaito to bounce these back into our hands if we get stalled by our opponent. Have yet to lose a game to our own Archfiends here. So they're going to burn down the house, hit one of them with a Flame Blessed Bolt, goes into exile. Let's see, how does this work? All right, it only copies if we ninja it out onto the board, so that's not going to be useful right here. Let's get the hacker down just as a regular creature. We could potentially use the hacker as our ninja target, slap down the shadow, and get a free copy of the Archfiend. Nicely, our opponent left us with the copy of Archfiend with the most counters on it. Appreciate that. Opponent going to burn down the house, but nothing left to take care of the fiend. Well, in that case, let's... yeah, I think we can just plan on getting a Kaito down. Kaito's got that drone ability as a -2. And that could virtually guarantee that we've got this game wrapped up. So no cards in hand for the opponent. Let's just get the attacks done. We'll keep that creature out on the board.
All right, little buddy.
We are not in danger of losing quite yet. And opponent scoops it up. Good game. Well, it's not the best hand, but it is a functional hand. Opponent sporting the Jungle Hollow. I think Sonio had a nice green and black control list lately, so wouldn't be surprised if I see some opponents sporting that list. I think out of all the other content creators, I've probably personally had the most luck with a lot of Sonio's lists. I may be a control player at heart. All right. Underground River. Well, let's get in with the Beetle. Beetle number 2. Discards a forest. So we've seen Soul Transfer and a forest. Let's get Kaito down. We might be able to start reusing some of these Virus Beetles. I still think they're saving some removal for something a little more worthwhile than these Beetles, which is why I'm opting for Kaito here over the Archfiend.
Sometimes the winning move is to sit and watch.
Let's see if they want to spend a cut down. Nope, but a Tear Asunder is good enough to hit these Beetles. And we'll bounce a Beetle. That is okay by me. And we'll draw a second card thanks to Kaito's ability, picking up a Biting Palm Ninja. So swamp here, that'll be land number 5. Virus Beetle for sure. Let's see what the opponent discards. Come on, opponent. Okay. Let's go for Liliana. Add some more discard effects here.
Drop it.
Invoke Despair. They pitch and Invoke Despair. Very happy about that outcome, and we get a Make Disappear to start protecting our growing board of Dimir-flavored planeswalkers. Opponent bushwhacking for an extra land. And there is Gix. Now, Liliana can take care of Gix for free, and that will free us up to get in a little attack. Ninja out this Biting Palm Ninja, and that's too much disruption for the opponent. Good game. Well, this is a different hand. Good amount of lands, though. Let's start ourselves off nice with a Thousand-Faced Shadow. If we can draw into one of our 2 or 3 drop ninjas here, could start drawing cards or making our opponent discard. But nope, just the 3 of a kind Archfiend plan. As we wait to figure out what flavor of deck our opponent is up to over here. Speaking of our opponent, kicking wings sound good. Could go for some of those right now. Don't know exactly what that would be, but it sounds like it would be amazing. All right, well, multiple flavors of island. Everybody's so creative, as they say. All right, let's get in with this Thousand-Faced Shadow. We'll pretend like we're holding on to some removal over here. Really start putting some fear into him with this 1/1 flyer. Delver of Secrets. So I guess we're just on the mono blue plan with some funky lands. All right, let's get in, see if they want to spend a Fading Hope over here on this ninja. Nope. Well, let's try for one of these trio of Archfiends. Oh, they're going to Impulse. I thought for sure that would eat a make disappear, but opponent plays with a lot of bounce. I know this list runs a lot of Fading Hope. And so we'll see if this actually makes contact with our opponent. Delver number 2. Wondering what they impulsed for over there. Ooh, make disappear is going to be nice. Let's get in before we make any rash decisions. Take our opponent to 10. And do we play this or do we wait? I think we play it. They didn't counter our first one, so... Alright, Dissipate. Alright, that's not bad. Make them spend their mana on that. Opponent draws. Yet another Island Art. And Delver number 3. Oh, where's the Haughty Djinn? Hard to believe those Delvers haven't flipped yet. Okay, Darkslick Shores. Let's get in first and see what's going on here. Nothing from our opponent. Well, if we Takenuma, we can keep up Make Disappear. And all but ensure Airtie's Scorn. I don't think so. No, we need to put this game to bed. We will counter that, get the second Archfiend going. Are you going to flip these Delvers? Even if they do, we could potentially attrition them out of the game. No! With the Archfiend triggers, that would be 2 damage apiece for each one that has to chump block, so it's kind of inevitability anyway. But opponent with just a Tolarian Terror, nothing left. All right. Good game. Opponent going first. I think we can try to keep this since we've got Moon Circuit Hacker. All of our hopes kind of residing on that to find us land number 3. Looks like we're up against another mono-red opponent. Sure. Well, yeah, I probably should have played the island there. Conserve a little bit of life, but it's going to happen eventually. We'll see if they want to spend some burn on our ninja. Or if they're going to let us chump block this Phoenix chick. Oh, play with fire. Okay. Well, that's 2 points of burn. Not headed at my dome. Land number 2. Let's try for this ninja. Even if we just get a loot effect out of it, that's going to help smooth our draws out going forward. We could potentially get a Liliana down if we get land number 3. And she can act as a nice distraction as well. Opponent will have to decide if they want to attack her and let her build back up to another sacrifice, or just what they want to do. Okay, just getting in with the chick. Since they can't prowess up the Swift Spear, we can block that pretty easily. All right, land number 2. Let's see if they want to block. Kind of highly... Okay. All right, actually not too sad about that. Was kind of seeing if we could loot and get a land, but no, we'll just we'll kind of wipe the board here. I've got an Infernal Grasp in hand, and we're really just waiting for the 3rd land to kind of get these ninjas down, really disrupt the rest of what's going on. So Phoenix Chick is going to hit us for 2 thanks to Mechanized Warfare. There's land number 3 finally, but it's gonna hurt a little bit. We take 2 to play this Lily. But we will make our opponent sacrifice the Phoenix Chick.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
Opponent draws the mountain and gets a Chandra. That could help them get back in this game. Well, they're going to add some mana and do a damage to Lily. Reckless Impulse shows them another Chandra and a mountain as we pick up land number 4. Well, it's going to cost another life, but let's get this Archfiend down. Against red, this Archfiend's butt is so large that red often has a tough time dealing with it unless they've got multiple burn spells to throw at it. So, okay, we see our opponent digging a little bit with another Impulse. Chandra going to take a look at the top and sees a play with fire. So they will play with fire our face. That's worth 3 thanks to the warfare. And they get a scry. I'm going to go with the duplicate Chandra here. And Chandra doing 2 damage to us and adding 1 mana. In a bit of a tenuous position, I think we got to eliminate that Chandra here. And we're going to have to press with a Biting Palm Ninja. That can block a ground-based hasty creature. Opponent has so much mana, I doubt we're going to make disappear anything just yet. Alright, there's a Swift Spear. We know their hand. Nothing from them. Well, let's go to attacks and get in with everything. Don't really need to ninja anything in. Don't need to make them discard as they're empty-handed. We just kind of need to press the gas and see if we can end this game before they find the burn spells off the top that let them get through for the win. Oh, we got there. Amazing. Good game.